associated with the expectation of a fresh start, as well as reflecting on both our successes and failures from the previous year. However, with 2023 on the horizon, there's little time to focus on such traditions as the games slated for this year promise to be downright terrifying. The games set to arrive in 2023 appear to make for a cool year for gamers, with some of the most exciting horror titles of all time set to be released. This includes long-awaited sequels, remakes of iconic horror games, and popular IPs with multiplayer features. With such a tantalizing list of games, 2023 could easily be the year of survival horror. In this video, we will showcase 15 of the most terrifying and promising horror games that will definitely catch your attention in 2023.
My dad says the government is lying about everything.
Well, he's right. But don't worry, though. I'll protect you.
Ryan, something is wrong with Joe Parson, the farmer, you know.
In a gaming world where zombie games are commonplace, Grady Hill Incident breaks away from the mold by putting the player in the shoes of a typical person living in the 90s who must grapple with an extraterrestrial invasion. To stay alive, players must work with their neighbors to scavenge for resources, arm themselves, and fight against the aliens or attempt to escape. It's basically like playing the game Destroy All Humans, but from the perspective of humans.
In which barn? There's tons of them. A stormy wind came out of the north. And you think he can secure you from the angels of God?
Father! Those aren't angels. This is an alien invasion.
You are no man of God. You're an abomination. A filth.
Delusional Studio Limited's Wronged Us appears to be a fine journey for devotees of unpolished, low-budget horror titles. This third-person survival horror that revolves around a narrative is situated in an abandoned town that can be navigated without restriction. The team behind the game has stated that its open world and mission design is influenced by Dark Souls, while Silent Hill and Resident Evil are the primary sources of its storyline, mood, and gameplay mechanics. In an acknowledgement to older games, Wronged Us is being developed keeping a 4:3 aspect ratio in view, although there will also be a 16:9 option available.
Linsman, we're in corridor 8. Right now, there is a door malfunction. Any idea what's up? Linsman?
The most remarkable thing about Deathbound is the fact that it features dinosaurs, which can be extremely scary. Despite their horror-inducing nature, these extinct creatures are frequently featured in run-of-the-mill shooters. Even the well-known Dino Crisis franchise shifted its focus to action-oriented gameplay by its second installment. Deathbound provides both single-player and cooperative modes, as well as procedural systems for increased replayability. Unexpected components like weather conditions, spawn points, and changeable objectives are designed to encourage gamers to come back to the game. Many fans of the Alone in the Dark franchise were disheartened when the series went dormant after 2015, but they now have something to look forward to. At the latest THQ Nordic showcase, a new version of the original 1992 game was unveiled. It takes the plot, characters, and game mechanics from the original, but gives it a modern touch. It appears to be similar to the Resident Evil 2 remake, except instead of trying to survive a virus outbreak, the player will be exploring haunted houses, teeming with supernatural creatures. Anticipation is high for the follow-up to The Forest, Sons of the Forest, in which gamers try to outlive an array of menacing humanoids. Similarly to the original game, this sequel will emphasize creating a safe environment for yourself, such as cultivating food, constructing a camp, and setting up traps in order to have a peaceful night. Exploration of caves and landscapes will be a major component of the game.
Mike. I made my way in. Found some sort of administrative room. It's a total mess here.
During the 2022 Future Games Show livestream, the creepy monsters of the survival horror shooter It'll left a horrifying impact. Developed by the Fresh Studio team Cloud, it was made using Unreal Engine 5, allowing the beasts, settings, and battle mechanics to have an incredibly realistic ambience that will be sure to delight fans of intense horror titles such as Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead. For many years, fans of the projects in the works is a remake of Silent Hill 2, which has been well received by fans. Bloober Team, the creators of the medium Layers of Fear and Blair Witch, are developing this remake. The development team aims to keep the original story as is, yet to further immerse players into the game, they are adding a new over-the-shoulder camera. Players will play as James Sunderland, who sets out to the mysterious town of Silent Hill in search of his supposedly deceased wife.
Silent Hill.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre has acquired a legendary status in the realm of horror fiction, and it is high time to have a video game version of it. Gamers can either play as a member of the infamous Slaughter family or as one of the unlucky people trying to evade them. The game mechanics are akin to the Friday the 13th video game in which one person is the killer and the rest try to find a way to take down the villain.
You can't hide from me!
This video game with a first-person point of view is inspired by the Shell Shock series, which courted controversy. As a player, you take on the role of a German soldier in World War I. Post-traumatic stress disorder is examined in the context of a horror game with hallucinations and delusions containing ghastly beings and strange events. It is intriguing to observe if this approach gives an enjoyable horror experience, as well as depicting the actual circumstances of World War I accurately.
Manchmal weiß ich nicht, ob ich träume oder wache. Ob ich hier in den Gräben bin oder zurück im Haus in Berlin.
In Aftermath, you are presented with two intense adversaries, the seen and unseen monsters that plague a ruined city in Europe. As Charlie Gray, you are tasked with finding your daughter Sammy at any cost, a difficult quest. To make matters worse, you must defend yourself against an invisible enemy in addition to the numerous other dangers that dwell in the city. It comprises of a competent crafting and scavenging system, where everyday objects can be used to form items and supplies that can save your life. Additionally, what you consume and when you eat are as critical as ever in this game. Attempting to be sound in both body and mind will give you the upper hand as Charlie and Sammy's gripping story develops.
Keep on marching on.
Как спали. Ну, чё там?
Set in the Chernobyl exclusion zone after the nuclear event, Heart of Chernobyl has radiation levels that are still very dangerous. It is in this setting that mutated monsters have made their presence known, adding to the horror of the game. Through the use of Unreal Engine 5, the non-linear story of the game promises to be atmospheric and full of tension. A multiplayer mode will also be added on as a free update post-launch, which is always something that players are grateful for. It has been many years since Konami made any announcement about the Silent Hill franchise. But that all changed in October 2022 when gamers were treated to a streaming event with updates about the series. Neo Ward's Entertainment, known for the Resident Evil Resistance game, will be producing a new installment called Silent Hill F, which will take place in Japan as opposed to the usual town of Silent Hill. Additionally, the artwork for this game will be more vibrant than prior releases. Other than that, there are no other details available yet.
We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer.
Following a 13-year break, a beloved tortured writer has returned. The introductory trailer for Alan Wake 2 is quite intimidating, commencing with a savage crime scene with a corpse on a rock table and a dual triangle symbol is engraved on a close-by tree, which may allude to Twinnis or a religious quest. We get a look at a dismal cityscape, which appears to be Bright Falls, before getting a close-up of a scruffy Wake and a glimpse of Wake's face, bloodied and contorted by rage.
This story is a monster. And monsters wear many faces.
The dismemberment system in Dead Space was its most memorable quality. Gamers were able to aim their weapons in order to take off targeted body parts and take out opponents in the meantime. Dead Space also had an uncluttered UI with essential information such as ammo and health revealed within the game. Motive Studios' version appears to be as true to the original as can be. The biggest changes are visible in the new visuals and audio design. In particular, the redesigned soundscape, featuring obstruction and occlusion, can make an already great horror game even better.
Gotta go. Talk later.
Resident Evil 4 is renowned for being one of the most iconic and influential video games of all time. In fact, without this game, some of the other titles, such as Dead Space, might never have been created. Leon S. Kennedy is back in an entirely updated version of the 2005 original that breathed new life into the Resident Evil series. This RE Engine remake aims to bring back some of the same elements from the original, such as the opening scene with a village attack, but with updated graphics, sound design, and gameplay mechanics. The remake of Resident Evil 4 is not an exact replica of the original, and Capcom has made some changes to certain sections. Nevertheless, all the memorable moments are still present, from El Gigante to Del Lago. Leon will face a horror-filled adventure in this atmospheric remake with a greater emphasis on the horror elements and modern rendering features. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. We tried to feature the most anticipated survival horror games of 2023, and we know that we missed some interesting ones, but I think we can all agree that these 15 games definitely deserve the spotlight. If you think that we missed a big title, make sure to help us by reminding us in the comments below. See you in the next video.